and we have Zach from PhysioRx. We're doing, what is this, our third? I think
this is, yeah, I think fourth. No, it's fourth. Yeah.
These runner workshops have been awesome. It's funny because you think you're going to take a runner's workshop, you do a couple moves, and you're like, what else can you learn? Yeah, I've learned that there's a whole lot more to learn. So Zach is going to keep schooling us, keep us moving well, keep us learning about our bodies and how to take care of them while we run, and also how to work drills for injury prevention while we're running in those common areas, right? Zach, under our knees.
Yep, absolutely.
Above our back heel. I love that you taught me that because I never knew that. So thank you.
Most common areas for sure. We're gonna talk about a little different area today with some of the lateral movements that we'll be doing, but still these are still all helpful for those same areas at the same time. So
cool. Right. So I think it's that time. If we have more people rolling in, I'll let them in. Otherwise, I'm gonna let Zach take over, guys. By the way, if you have any questions or anything you want to say, you can open up your chat box, put it in there, kind of raise your hand. I think you can do that if you go over if you're on a computer, on the box. Otherwise, like literally raise your hand, or like we said last time with Zach, if you frantically make then we know you have something you want to say. But if you're not comfortable being unmuted and speaking, we can answer your questions if you put them in the chat box. Cool? All right, let's do this. Zach.
Awesome. Definitely, as Tina said, feel free to jump in whenever you want with questions. That's a super important part about this session. So I think most of you guys have at least been to one of these at this point. So you have an idea of the purpose behind plyometrics and what they are. We're really focusing on the speed, strength, quality of movement with these sorts of exercises. And that's important because it mimics the sort of peak amount of force that your body experiences while you're running. And it also mimics the sort of speed at which those peak forces come on when you're out for a run over and over and over again. So that's really the goal of incorporating these plyos. We're trying to improve your body's capacity to deal with those stresses and ultimately reduce your chances of getting hurt. Now, in the past, we've done a lot of movements that involved, straight plane, kind of front to back, linear movements. And those are really nice and helpful to address a lot of issues that happen at the knee and at the ankle, the Achilles. Now we're going to focus on some lateral movements. So think side to side movements, still with more of a vertical component. And this is called, or these movements occur in what's called the frontal plane, as opposed to the sagittal plane being more of that front to back motion. Now, we talked about last time that running was really something called absolute speed, and that just involves a lot of forces going up and down over and over again to keep a nice smooth progression, as you move over the course of a run. It's also important to address the lateral component of things, because when you're standing on one leg, we need to be able to stabilize our pelvis. So if I show you here, as I'm standing on one leg, my pelvis is nice and neutral straight across. A lot of times we can run into issues when we're on a run or later in a long run where our pelvis sort of drops like this to over exaggerate it, and it can increase the stress on some of the structures on the outside of the hip. So the outside of the hip, we have our gluteal tendons. That's a common area that can become injured in a very repetitive way. You also have something called the IT band that I'm sure a lot of the runners out there have heard of or had issues with. That can also be placed under some greater degree of force if you happen to have not have the best control in the frontal plane. So that's really the goal of these movements, is to improve our ability to control the pelvis, from a lateral movement perspective. That's really the bulk of the education piece here. So we'll kind of jump into the movement portion. We're going to start with a very similar dynamic warm-up to previous sessions, so everyone can kind of stand up at this point. Again, we'll run through a nice quick dynamic warm-up. It'll be 5 or 6 movements here. Just get the body kind of prepared to do some of these exercises. We're just going to start with some basic forward leg swings, get the hammies to elongate and shorten in a way that they're going to have to move for these speed strength exercises. 15 on each side. thank you everybody for joining today. I see a couple new people joining now as well. So I appreciate you spending time with us. You can switch sides, get the left leg going.
This really tests your balance, huh?
Oh yeah, especially when you don't have anything to hold on to. The way that a lot of these camera setups have to be, there's nothing next to you to hold on to, but it's all right. Just do the best that you can. Yep, when you finish up the forward swings, we're gonna go into our lateral swings. These might test your balance even more so, but these become even more important today than they were in previous sessions, as we'll be focusing on side-to-side movements using some of these, groin adductor muscles, some of the muscles on the outside of the hip a little bit more intensely. Go ahead and switch sides. Good. All right. From there, once we finish up the leg swings, we're going to go into a nice simple glute bridge. We're going to increase the lever on the glute bridge. So you're just going to walk your feet out a little bit further than you normally would. Bring the hips up towards the ceiling and back down for 15 reps. Really focus on driving. Go ahead.
What does it do having it further away? Because I know last time we had it closer to our butts.
Yep. So bringing your feet further away from your backside increases the lever, or really just the distance that your heel is away from your hip joint, and puts a little bit more stress on the hamstring, or biases the hamstring in the glute bridge movement a little bit more so than the glute itself. So it just, it's a way to challenge the hamstrings a little bit more with a bridge.
Cool.
I'm just going to get a couple more of these in. Everybody finishing up there. Good. All right. So next we're going to go for our lateral lunges. Again, these become increasingly important with a lot of these lateral movements. So stepping out to the side, reaching the hips back, coming back up to the standing position. Let's do 10 on each side. Good. Go ahead and switch when you're ready. 10 on the opposite side. Good. Let everybody finish up their 10 reps here. Excuse me. All right, so to finish up the movement prep dynamic warm-up section for today, we're gonna add in something that we haven't done. We're gonna do a nice basic side plank, really just to emphasize the outside of the hip. Obviously, get some challenge to the core as well, but really emphasizing some of those gluteal muscles on the outside of the hip that we'll be relying on frequently today with some of these movements. All right, so 2 variations that you can use. One is just the nice traditional side plank. Make sure to get your forearm flat on the floor, elbow right below your shoulder, legs are straight out, and you're pressing your arm through the floor, pressing the outside of your foot through the floor, and holding this nice straight posture. If you need to modify things a little bit, you need things to be a little bit easier, you can go ahead and bend your knees, keep your thighs in line with your body, and again, bridge up into that nice short side plank here. All right, hold that for about 30 seconds. Doesn't have to be to a T, but around 30 seconds each side. And then we'll keep it moving from there. So again, really focus on squeezing the glutes when you're in that top position, pulling your belly button in towards your spine, and that will, help bias that outer glute portion that we're going to be using a ton today. All right. Everybody doing all right? Hanging in? Good. Nice. You guys are really true to your word, taking that 30 seconds seriously. I love it. All right, perfect. Everybody feeling warmed up, ready to jump into things here? Okay, yeah. So again, I know I'm sort of harp on this, but I want to quickly revisit the base position and run through our basic landing technique, deceleration. I see Becky really loves side planks, saying they're the devil. So I really want to hone in on that base position again, work on landing and absorbing force, just to make sure that our bodies are really prepared for some of these more challenging movements, all right? So I'll show you the 3 progressions in a row this time, because I know most of you have seen these already, and then I'll let you kind of run through the progressions at your own pace here, and I'll be able to keep an eye on things a little bit better. So the first one, triple extension, reaching up towards the sky on your toes, dropping down into that nice base position from the side. That looks like so. Reaching the hips back, slight bend in the knees, nice soft landing. Good. From there, you're gonna do 5 snap downs onto both legs, and then you'll do 5 snap downs onto a single leg each side, all right? We'll just focus on those 2 for today, as the split squat won't be as big of a position in the movements today. So 5 snap downs to the base position, and then 5 single leg snap downs each side. Good. Looks good, Lena. Nice, Becky. I think we got somebody else joining with their video. I can't see your name, but hello.
Let me see who that is. It's Daniel.
Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Nice, Lena. Think about driving that knee towards the wall on the landing leg. Prevent it from kind of collapsing down and in. Good save there, Becky. All right, good. Everybody finishing up those. Perfect. So it's important to just continue to reinforce the basics. You know, almost every time that you do this, I would suggest quickly working through that progression. You know, it's only going to help build your foundation with these plyometric movements. All right. So we'll jump right into the lateral vertical progression for today. You'll see some linear movements that might be thrown in combination with lateral movements. We're going to start to sort of chain things together to increase the difficulty and the complexity here. So it'll start out pretty basic, you know, with pretty basic initiation types, and then we'll gradually increase the difficulty as we continue through the progression here. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is a non-counter movement lateral jump. So a jump, we're starting on 2 feet and landing on 2 feet, okay? So you're gonna drop down into the base position, deliberately pause for a 2-second count, jump, try and reach as high as you can for the sky, but you're jumping to the side. So you should be landing, you know, a few steps to the side from your starting position. We're gonna do 5 jumps in each direction, okay? Make sure you focus on that nice deliberate pause before initiating the jump and land. Good, Tina, that's nice. Daniel looks good. Daniel, on your landing, try and get your feet a little bit further apart. I think it'll make that base position more solid for you. Better, nice. Lena looks good. Ashley, I didn't catch you on this one, but I'll catch you on the next one. Good. Good landing position there, Askia. All right. So as you guys are finishing up, we're going to use that same exact movement pattern. So we're going to do another lateral jump variation. This time we're going to progress to a counter movement initiation. So if you remember from last time, a counter movement is going to eliminate that deliberate pause before you jump, okay? So you're driving down into the base position, immediately driving out of it, using that momentum to hopefully get a little bit higher and a little bit further on the jump, all right? So that's going to look like so. Immediately down into the base position, up, lateral jump and land. Down into the base position, drive the arms nice and high, land a few steps to the side. All right, so same thing, let's do 5 reps in each direction. Good. Drive the arms down and then immediately get out of that bottom position and initiate the jump. Good. Everybody's looking solid here.
Oh, that gets your heart rate up.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah. I don't think I'd be able to talk and do it at the moment. So I'm giving myself a second. Yeah, that's the thing. These plyos are no joke from a cardio perspective as well. Nice secondary benefit. Good, we'll let everybody finish up here. All right. So the next progression, again, we're going to stick with that lateral jump as the main movement, but we're going to change the landing. So we're going to go with a single leg landing. All right. So you're going to land on the outside leg. And what I mean by that is if you're jumping to your right, you're landing on your right leg. Okay. So down, let's go deliberate pause, jump, and you're landing, trying to stick it on that single leg. A little bit better than I stuck mine there. Pause, stick that landing. What I would suggest as you start these is go with a smaller jump so that you can really focus on sticking the landing. That's the most important part at the moment, all right? Good. This single leg landing is crucial for that pelvic stability that I talked about while we're out on a nice long run. Good.
I see a couple different landing positions for the back leg. So I'm wondering, Zach.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some knees here, some feet here, right? And then some kind of twisting. What is the ideal position of the back leg?
Ideally, you sort of want to be in this nice kind of athletic
straight
position
back.
with a slight trunk lean. Your thigh is kind of in line with the rest of your body. Leg is slightly behind. With that being said, I know everyone's trying to really balance on one leg and your leg's going to end up going kind of all over the place. That's okay as you're learning these movements. You'll eventually, your body will become more accustomed to them and more efficient at nailing that landing position.
Cool.
It's a great question though. Okay, we'll give everybody a chance to do 1 or 2 more. All right, so we're going to take that single leg landing now and really build upon it. So we're transitioning from a jump as our main movement to a bound. Now a bound is basically jumping from one leg to the other. So you're starting on your left leg, landing on your right leg, or starting on your right leg, landing on your left leg. We're going to go with a non-counter movement lateral bound, which looks like this. So I'm going to start on my left leg, coming down into the base position, deliberate pause, up and out, sticking the landing on my right side. And again, reset, down, pause, lateral bound, sticking the landing on my left. All right, so we're going single leg to single leg. We're gonna do, again, 5 repetitions on each side.
So this almost becomes like a skater in a way,
exactly,
but you're fighting
exactly.
that urge to.
And that you're actually, that's a sneak peek to where we're heading. We're gonna pick up the pace, decrease the amount of time that we're spending on the ground in the next variation. Good catch there, Lena. Nice, Daniel. Good stick there. Looks good, Amy. I want you guys to challenge yourself as well. You know, once you start to get used to these movements a little bit more, to emphasize that vertical component. So it should look almost like a high arc, a high arcing motion. That will force your body to have to absorb some more force, really, you know, produce more force that it has to then control on the landing. Good. It will make things harder. It will make the landing difficult to stick. All right, one more here, and then we'll move on. All right. So as Tina kind of foreshadowed here, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit on this lateral bound motion. So we're going to do what I would call a non-counter movement to a counter movement lateral bound. So it's going to start exactly the same. You're going to come down into the base position, deliberate pause. You're going to bound, and then immediately try and spend the least amount of time possible on the ground and bound back to the starting position. So I'm going to the right and then immediately back to my left and sticking the landing. All right, so let's do 3 reps on each side for this one. This one's a little more demanding, so just want to make sure that everyone is getting some quality repetitions in. Nice, Becky. Good, Amy. Looks good, Lena. Good. Try and spend a little less time on that leg, that first leg, Daniel. Good. Better. Good. Everyone's looking solid on this one. Nice. It almost looked better as you sped it up, which is that's a good sign. You guys are getting the hang of things here. What you can do from there to progress is go into a continuous lateral bound, which is that skier exercise that Tina was talking about. We'll skip that one just for time's sake right now, because I think a lot of you guys have probably been exposed to that exact movement. And that's just spending, you know, no time stopping. You're just bouncing back and forth, side to side continuously for usually an amount of time, 30 seconds or so. I want to progress to some hopping, some lateral hopping, which is single leg to single leg, but you're landing on the same leg. So if I'm doing my right side, I'm starting here, nice base position. We're going to deliberately pause, vertical hop, and land on that same leg. So my right leg is producing the force and absorbing the force now, okay? I want you to start jumping towards the outside of your body, all right? So again, my right leg, I'm jumping to my right and landing, okay? Try 3 reps of that on each leg, and then I'll show you how you can make that a little bit more challenging as well.
It's not challenging enough.
There's always something that's harder. Good. Remember to get a nice, bend in the knee on the landing. Amy, you can slow it down a little bit for now. Focus on sticking that first jump, or first hop, I should say. There you go. Nice. That's better. Nice, Lena. Okay, so just because I know we're coming up on 12:30 pretty quickly here, the way that you could go about making the hopping more difficult, I saw a few of you actually doing it as you were resetting in between reps, is actually jumping towards the inside of your body. So by that, I mean you are starting on your right leg, but jumping and landing on my right leg to my left, right? That medial jump is more challenging on the outside of the hip because our momentum is going away from the hip. So my body's momentum is sort of pulling me this way, but I'm trying to stabilize my leg, keep my knee in a nice position. That would be, the more challenging progression, okay? There were a few other kind of combo movements as well that I wanted to kind of go over. So just to show you guys, so you can try them on your own and you have some homework to do for after today. These are fun. This is fun homework though. I'll give you a demo real quick and then I'll leave some time to answer any questions, all right? So the first one is going to be a counter movement jump, single leg land to a lateral bound. It's a lot of words. It makes more sense visually. So it's just putting together all the pieces basically. So down into the base position, jump, landing on one leg ideally, and then a lateral bound and stick, all right? Jump, land, one leg, lateral bound and stick, okay? So just again, putting the pieces together, turning it into a more complex, compound variation. So that's one example. Another example is a split squat switch to a lateral bound. So this one's a little more complicated here. So the split squat switch is almost like a mini split squat jump, into the lateral bound, right? So that looks like so. Okay. So again, just putting some different pieces together, making the movements a little more challenging, a little bit more engaging as well, a little more fun. So those are some things that you guys can try on your own and kind of let me know what you think of them, all right? And now we'll go with questions if anybody has any, as I catch my breath.
Oh, it looks like we have a question here. I'm gonna unmute you, okay? Here. All right, you are unmuted, Daniel.
Hello.
Hi.
I have repaired patellar tendons. Is there a good exercise or let's say a strength exercise you can recommend for IT bands and for that part of the knee?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the patellar tendon, we want to make sure that your quad is able to produce a lot of force so that it can then absorb a lot of force as well. With that being said, we need to make sure that we're doing exercises that build the resiliency of the tendon also. Knee extensions or leg extensions are sort of a polarizing exercise in fitness and in healthcare, but they're the best way that we have to really isolate the quad and build resiliency through the patellar tendon as well. So that would be one thing that I would say I would highly recommend gradually introducing into a strength program.
So do you mean that machine that allows you to do this?
Yep, you can do it with a machine. You can do it with a band setup. Yeah, however, there's tons of ways you can do it.
It's resisting weight that's on your top of your leg. Yeah, and pushing away. Cool.
So just using my physio bands or getting like one of those resistance bands and putting it around my knees and doing that movement, or not my knees, but like calf down to Okay.
Yeah, like you can put it from your lower back.
Yeah.
Right around your front legs.
Yeah.
I can even really quickly show you a setup with, if you have a band like this, it's pretty easy actually. And you get a chair. We'll see how this goes. I'm basically just putting the band around the leg of the chair. Not sure if you'll be able to see this or not. We'll give it an attempt. So you kind of anchor it to the front leg of the chair. Then you actually want to loop it around the back leg to give you some extra resistance, right? Now we have a nice line of pull for that knee extension. You can get your ankle in there. You can actually, this is getting a little specific here, but loop it around like so. So now I have a nice setup for a knee extension.
All right. That's great. Thank you.
That's so cool.
Yeah, of course. No problem at all. That's a nice home tip for that exercise for sure.
Very cool.
The plyometrics as well will help address some of those stiffness components of the patellar tendon. So you're definitely doing the right things already.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have another question? We can squeeze one more in. Speak now or wait till 2 weeks away.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks. So
yeah, so this is going to be an every other week event. Every Thursday at noon, we're going to come here and we're going to keep learning and exploring stuff about running. And it's amazing what all these exercises you're teaching us. So thank you guys for coming. Yeah, and thank you guys for coming. It's great to see you guys working and enjoying it as well. And I'm going to write a follow-up with some of the information from the workshops, but just know it doesn't replace it. So the fact that you guys are here, you're getting the full learning of the full experience that, you know, the write-up just can't take the place of. So thank you for showing up.
Absolutely. Yeah, we appreciate you spending time with us. This is a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing this. So thanks everybody for coming.
Cool. So we'll see y'all next time, I hope. Have
a
great one. Thanks, Zach, again.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.